You know what's unnerving about theaters? They're designed for illusion, for pretending, for making you believe something false is true. The sets, the lights, the costumes, the actors, all conspiring to create reality where none exists. And backstage is where the illusion breaks down, where you see the mechanics, the ropes, the pulleys, the false walls, the painted backdrops, the truth behind the lie. But what if that's not the truth either? What if backstage is another kind of performance, another layer, another illusion? What if the real theater, the eternal theater, happens in the wings, in the dark spaces, in the places where actors wait, where they prepare, where they transform, where they become? My name's Lisa, and I'm a stage manager at the Pemberton Theater in Boston, Massachusetts. Historic venue, built in 1887. 3 stories, ornate, beautiful, haunted, they say. Every old theater is haunted, they say. Ghosts of actors past, spirits who never left, energy from decades of performances. All the usual stories. I never believed them, never took them seriously. Until last week, until I stayed late, until I went backstage after everyone left, until I discovered that the Pemberton isn't haunted by ghosts. It's haunted by performances, by shows that never ended, by actors who are still performing, still rehearsing, still waiting for their cue, still trapped in the eternal run. And now I think I'm part of it too. I've worked at the Pemberton for 4 years, started as an assistant, worked my way up. Now I'm the head stage manager. I know this building, every floor, every room, every catwalks, every trap door, every lighting position, every hidden passage. The theater is a maze, deliberately, by design. Backstage areas in old theaters are labyrinths, narrow corridors, steep stairs, low ceilings, dark corners, places where stagehands and actors moved unseen, where scene changes happened in shadows, where the magic was manufactured. The Pemberton is worse than most, or better, depending on your perspective. It's been renovated 6 times, expanded, modified, each era adding layers, creating dead ends, blocking passages, sealing rooms. The current layout barely makes sense. Corridors that lead nowhere, doors that open to brick walls, stairs that end at ceilings. It's a palimpsest of theatrical architecture, a century of construction folded over itself. And in the forgotten spaces, in the sealed rooms, in the abandoned passages, things remain. Things left behind. Things that never left. We're running a production of A Streetcar Named Desire. Solid cast, good director, standard show. We're in week 3 of the run, 7 more weeks to go. That Wednesday was a matinee day. 2 shows, 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Between shows, the actors rest. The crew resets. I handle paperwork, check equipment, prepare for evening. Routine, normal. The evening show went well. Ended around 10:30 p.m. Cast and crew left by 11. I stayed behind. I always stay. Final walkthrough. Make sure everything's secure. Lights off, props stored, set pieces safe, doors locked. Standard procedure, standard night. I started on stage, checked the set. The Kowalski apartment, walls, furniture, all secure. I moved to stage right, into the wings. That's what we call the offstage areas, the wings, where actors wait, where they enter and exit, where they exist between scenes, between performances, between realities. The wings at the Pemberton are deep, extending back maybe 40 feet, filled with equipment, lighting stands, sound gear, storage racks, props tables, and beyond that, the old wings, the original backstage, from 1887, still there, behind the modern additions, behind the renovations, sealed off mostly, marked unsafe, condemned, but accessible, if you know where, if you're curious, if you're stupid. I'd been back there before, during the day, with flashlights, with other people, exploring, documenting, taking photos for the theater's archives. It was fascinating. Old, decayed, beautiful. Graffiti from past productions, notes on walls, names and dates, actors from decades ago, shows from before I was born, all recorded, all preserved, all left behind. But I'd never been back there at night. Never alone. Never after a performance. Never when the theater was still, warm, still alive, still resonating with the energy of the show, of the actors, of the audience, of the emotion, the pretending, the transformation. But that night, I felt drawn, pulled, like something was calling, like I needed to see, needed to check, needed to go deeper, into the old wings, into the sealed passages, into the spaces that weren't on my rounds, weren't my responsibility, weren't part of the living theater, but part of something else, something permanent, something that ran parallel to our productions, our rehearsals, our performances. I found the passage. Behind the lighting cabinet, a door, painted over, easy to miss. I'd used it before, knew the way, pushed through, into the corridor beyond, narrow, dark. The walls were original, brick, exposed. The floor was wood, old wood, creaking, uneven. My flashlight cut through the darkness, illuminating dust, cobwebs, decay, and something else. Movement, in the shadows, at the edge of my light. Quick, gone before I could focus. Probably rats. Old theaters have rats. Everyone knows. Nothing unusual. Nothing concerning. I kept walking. The corridor branched. I chose left, toward the original stage right wing, where actors would have waited in 1887, where they would have prepared, where they would have listened for their cues, where they would have become their characters, where they would have transformed. The space opened up into a larger area. The old wing. I could see remnants, old lighting positions, rigging points, pulleys and ropes, all ancient, all unused, all abandoned. And against the far wall, I saw something. Shapes, human shapes, standing, perfectly still. I froze. My flashlight beam landed on them. Mannequins. No, not mannequins. Costumes. Hanging. On racks. On stands. Period costumes. From different eras. 1880s. 1920s. 1950s. All preserved. All waiting. All still here. Decades after their productions ended. Decades after the actors went home. The costumes remained, holding the shape of bodies, holding memories of performances, holding something more. I approached slowly, examined them. Beautiful work, detailed, authentic, hand-sewn. I reached out, touched one, a Victorian dress, burgundy velvet. The fabric was warm, not room temperature, body temperature, like someone had just taken it off, like someone had been wearing it, recently. Right now. I jerked my hand back. That was impossible. No heat source. No reason for warmth. Just old fabric in a cold space. In an abandoned wing. In a sealed passage, but it was warm. Definitely warm. I touched another. A man's suit. 1920s. Double-breasted. Warm. Both of them. All of them. All warm. All recently worn. All occupied. I heard something. Behind me. Footsteps. Soft. On wood. On the old floor. Someone walking. I spun around. My light cutting through the darkness. Illuminating the space. Empty. No one there. Just the corridor. Just the shadows. Just the silence. But I'd heard it. Clearly. Unmistakably. Footsteps. I called out. Hello? Security? Is someone here? My voice echoed. Bounced off brick, came back distorted. No response, no answer, just my echo. And then, more footsteps, from a different direction, from stage left, from the other wing, from across the theater. But that was impossible. I was in a sealed area, separated from the active building. No one could be over there, no one should be, no one was, except no one was. I heard voices, faint, distant, speaking. Not to me, to each other. having a conversation, a scene, performing. I recognized the cadence, the rhythm, the style, stage dialogue, actors. But performing what? For whom? The theater was empty, the audience gone, the show over, hours over. But the voices continued, getting louder, getting closer, coming from everywhere, from the stage, from the wings, from the corridors, from the walls themselves, all performing, all speaking lines, all being actors, all doing their job, their eternal job, their never-ending job. I ran. Back toward the door, back toward the modern theater, back toward reality. But the corridor had changed, longer, darker, branching in ways I didn't remember. I took a turn, then another, looking for the lighting cabinet, for the door, for the exit. But every passage looked the same, every wall identical, every turn leading deeper, further, into the maze, into the labyrinth, into the Pemberton's true backstage, its permanent backstage, its eternal wings. I burst into another space, a dressing room, old, original, mirrors lining the walls, vanities, chairs, and in the mirrors, reflections, but not of me, of others, of actors, in costumes, applying makeup, preparing, getting ready, for a show, for a performance, for their entrance. They didn't notice me, didn't acknowledge me, just kept preparing, kept becoming, kept transforming into their characters, into their roles, into their parts. And I recognized some, faces from photographs, from archives, from the theater's history, actors who'd performed here, decades ago, generations ago, who'd died, who'd moved away, who'd retired, but were still here, still in the Pemberton, still preparing, still waiting, still performing, still waiting. One turned, looked at me, smiled. "You're late," she said. Her voice was clear, strong, projected, stage voice, actor voice, performance voice. "We're on in 5. You need to get into costume, hair and makeup. Quickly now. Places. She gestured to an empty vanity, to an empty chair, to a costume hanging, waiting. For me, my size, my fit, my part. "What show?" I asked, my voice shaking. She laughed. "All of them. Every show, every performance, every production the Pemberton has ever mounted. We do them simultaneously, forever, in rotation, in layers, in the eternal repertory. That's how it works here. That's how it's always worked. The stage has shows. The backstage has shows. Different productions, different casts, different audiences, running parallel, running forever. And you've been cast, you've been chosen, you've been called. Now get ready. Your entrance is coming." I backed away, toward the door, but it closed, locked, sealed, no escape. The other actors turned, all looking at me now, all smiling, all waiting, all expecting. "Don't be nervous," one said, a man in a Shakespearean doublet. "First night jitters, we all have them. But once you're on, once you find your light, once you speak your lines, it becomes natural, eternal, perfect. You'll never want to leave, never need to leave, never can leave. Welcome to the company. Welcome to the Pemberton. Welcome to the show that never closes." They moved toward me, surrounding, reaching, holding costume pieces, makeup brushes, scripts, trying to prepare me, trying to transform me, trying to make me one of them. I screamed, fought, broke free, ran through them, through their bodies, through their illusions, through their performances. They felt like smoke, like air, like nothing. But they were there, definitely there, performing, existing, being. I found another door, burst through into another corridor, more passages, more turns. The Pemberton was infinite, endless, a maze that kept expanding, kept changing, kept pulling me deeper, keeping me backstage, keeping me in the wings, keeping me in preparation, in limbo, in the space between audience and performance, the space where actors exist, the space where they wait, the space where they're neither themselves nor their characters, the space where transformation happens, the space that in the Pemberton never ends, ever. I don't know how long I ran, how many corridors, how many rooms, how many spaces I passed through. But eventually, I found stairs, going up, to the stage level, to the normal theater, to freedom. I climbed, burst through a door, and I was on stage. The actual stage. The streetcar set still up. The apartment still there, but different. Lit. Not work lights. Performance lights. Full rig. All on. All focused. All warm. Creating that stage glow. That performance atmosphere. That transformation space. And in the audience, people. Sitting. Watching. Waiting. Hundreds of them. Filling the seats. All dressed in period clothes. All from different eras. All silent. All still. All staring at me. At the stage. At the actress who'd just entered. Who'd just made her entrance. Who'd just begun her performance. I looked down. At myself. At what I was wearing. Not my stage manager blacks. A costume. The white suit. Blanche Dubois. Streetcar. First scene. Arrival. I knew the lines. Knew the blocking. Knew the character. I'd run this show for weeks. I'd watched it, called it, lived it, and now I was in it. On stage. In character. In costume. In the light. In the moment. Performing. The words came. Without thinking. Without trying. They told me to take a streetcar named Desire and then transfer to one called Cemeteries. My voice. But not my voice. Blanche's voice. Southern accent. Delicate. Nervous. Perfect. Exactly right. Exactly as I'd heard it. Exactly as I'd called it, but now I was saying it, now I was being it, now I was Blanche, now I was the character, now I was the performance. And I couldn't stop. The lines kept coming. The blocking happened. I moved across the stage, hit my marks, found my lights, performed. For the audience that shouldn't exist, in the theater that should be empty, in the show that had already ended, but hadn't ended, would never end. Because at the Pemberton, the performances run forever. In the wings, on the stage, in the dressing rooms, in the corridors, in every space. Every production the theater ever mounted, still mounting, still running, still performing. For audiences that exist in other times, other layers, other versions of the building, all happening simultaneously, all real, all eternal. I finished the scene. The lights faded. The audience disappeared. Silence. Darkness. I was alone on stage. Empty theater. Normal Pemberton. Morning light through the windows. I checked my phone. 8:47 a.m. The cleaning crew would arrive soon. The cast for the matinee. The audience. The real show. The current production. The temporary show. The one that would end in 7 weeks. The one that would be replaced. The one that would become another layer. Another performance. Another show in the eternal repertory. Another production running backstage. Forever. I walked to the wings. Stage right. Where I'd started. Where I'd gone exploring. Where I'd crossed over. The door was there. Behind the lighting cabinet. But sealed now. Painted over. Like it had never opened. Like I'd never gone through. Like the whole night had been... what? A dream? A hallucination? A performance? I don't know. But I know this. I can still hear them. The voices. The actors. Speaking their lines. Performing their shows. From backstage. From the wings. From the dressing rooms. From the corridors. From the sealed spaces. All the Pemberton's actors. All the Pemberton's shows. All still running. All still performing. All waiting. For their cues. For their entrances. For their moments. For new actors. New company members. New additions to the eternal cast. And at night, when I'm alone, when the current show is over, when the theater empties, I feel it. The pull. The call. The invitation. To go back. To return backstage. To rejoin the performance. To finish what I started. To complete my run. To become permanent. To join the company. To perform forever. In the eternal theater. In the shows that never close. In the Pemberton's true production. Its real show. Its primary purpose. Not entertainment for audiences, but preservation of performances. Collection of actors. Accumulation of art. Forever. Never ending. Never stopping. Never releasing. Just performing. Just being. Just existing. In the eternal wings. In the permanent backstage. In the space between. Where actors wait. Where they prepare. Where they transform. Where they never leave. Where I'll go back. Eventually. When I can't resist. When the call is too strong. When my cue comes. When it's time for my entrance. When I return to the stage, to the light, to the performance, to the show forever. If you're captivated by more disturbing accounts from people who've discovered that some performances never end, and some theaters never let their actors leave, make sure to subscribe to Campfire Nightmares. And I need to know. Have you ever worked in or visited an old theater and felt like you were being watched from the wings? Heard voices when the building should be empty? Seen movement in the shadows? Felt like the space wanted you to perform? Share your experiences in the comments, because I think the Pemberton isn't unique. I think there are old theaters everywhere that still run their historical productions, that keep their past actors, that trap performers in eternal shows, that exist in multiple time frames simultaneously, where the current production is just a facade, where the real shows happen backstage, in the wings, in the darkness, in the spaces between, where actors wait forever, where they perform forever, where they transform forever, into their roles, into their characters, into eternal versions of theatrical moments, never aging, never leaving, never stopping, just performing, forever. And if you work in theater, if you stay late, if you explore the backstage, be careful, be aware, be ready, because you might find yourself on stage, in costume, in character, speaking lines, performing, for an audience that exists in another time, in another layer, in the theater's true reality. And once you say your first line, once you find your light, you might never stop, might never finish, might never take your bow, might never leave, might become another member, another actor, another performance, in the show that never ends, in the theater that never closes, in the wings where we wait, forever. Places, places, your entrance is coming.